Hello and welcome back to my Operatant YouTube channel on LELB Society. This session I'm going to teach you another unit of 1100 words you need to know, week 23, day 3. The new words. Pedagogue. Pedagogue means teacher, but not exactly. You cannot find two words that have exactly the same meaning. So pedagogue seems to be more knowledgeable and actually stricter. He or she is a stricter teacher. Enunciate means to utter or proclaim. It means to it has two meanings. One, to pronounce words and phrases very clearly, and the other, to stipulate, to state actually your opinions very clearly. Utter has the same meaning. Utter as an adjective means complete, comprehensive, sheer, but as a verb means to speak and to enunciate. Inordinate. Inordinate means excessive, it's extreme. Okay. And irascible. Sorry. Irascible means irritable, angry, enraged, and furious. Irritable. Introspective means a person who thinks a lot, a thoughtful person, a pensive person, looking into one's own feelings. So the person who is introspective must be introverted. Okay. Words in context. The perils of the alphabet. Peril means dangers or risks. Okay, this refers to the story in the previous two sessions, week 23, day 2 and day 1. Dr. Weston is convinced that, is certain, is assured or reassured that the pedagogue is the culprit. The teacher is responsible. The teacher is at fault. Culprit means criminal, but here it has been exaggerated. Since teachers seat their pupils in alphabetical order, since means because teachers just place them. You know the difference between seat, S-E-A-T, and seat, S-I-T, is that the first one, that is the former, S-E-A-T, S-E-A-T is transitive and S-I-T is intransitive. And what about the difference between pupil and a student? Pupil actually usually our pupils are young learners, young students. In alphabetical order, the S to Z child is usually the last to receive his test marks, because they have to wait because the teacher actually is going on the basis of the alphabet, so they have to wait. The last to eat lunch, the last to be dismissed, here means to let go. Okay, and so on. As they are the last to recite, for example, to say something, to utter something, to explain about some parts of the lesson, these youngsters, that's why we say they are pupils, because they are young, feel frustrated, disappointed, because what they had to say had usually been enunciated earlier. Why frustrated? Because what they had to say, for example, in the class, had already been enunciated and recited and uttered and mentioned earlier by the other students. The inordinate amount of waiting that this group has to do This is the subject. Pay attention. This is the subject of the verb, of the sentence. So the excessive amount of waiting that this group has to do causes them to, sorry for the external noise, causes them to become, or makes them become irascible or go angry and jittery. So irascible and jittery means angry. Both of them mean angry. S to Z people also become quite introspective. Quite means completely. Introspective means, as I said, thinking a lot. Convinced that they are inferior to those at the top of the alphabet. They are lower in position, importance, position, rank, and, for example, IQ perhaps. So the opposite of inferior is superior. So they suffer from a kind of inferiority complex. Okay, sentence 1. Reporters are expecting the candidate to enunciate his policy on the escalation of the war. Reporters are expecting the candidate to make it clear, to make their policy, scheme, plan clear on the growth or rise of the war. He's profligate. Profligate means wasteful. Son made the parsimonious old crank ever more irascible. So we have two extreme or opposite conditions or adjectives, profligate and parsimonious. Profligate means wasteful, not careful about your spendings and expenditures. So the son is profligate and the old crank is parsimonious, miserly, mean. So this conflict causes some problem, and the problem is that the old crank goes bananas. Go banana means to become angry, irascible. And who is a crank? A crank is a person who acts weird or behaves in a strange way, and usually unaccepted way, because of, for example, old age. And the adjective is cranky. Since Alice is so gregarious and sociable, it surprised me to learn that she is also an introspective girl. So because Alice is so sociable, it surprised me to learn that she is also an introspective girl. So you cannot be sociable and introspective. I don't know, but it rarely happens. Because as I told you, introspective people tend to be introverted, not extroverted, and gregarious people are more or less, let's say, extroverted. Mr. Ford is proud to be called a teacher, but he demurs at the title of pedagogue. He likes the title of teacher, but he hesitates at the title of pedagogue. In an attempt to, with the purpose of showing how assiduous, careful, fastidious, scrupulous, meticulous, diligent, and very hard-working, industrious he was, the executive spent an inordinate amount of time on his report. Executive means senior manager. The rest is clear, and the idiom. To get one's back up means to become angry. To go bananas. Every time his mother mentioned getting a haircut, the young guitarist got his back up. There's a kind of generation gap going on here, and particularly if the child is an artist, a guitarist, in rock and roll, for example. So when he is asked to get a haircut, actually he goes bananas. Thank you very much for your attention. You see that there is a comment form at the bottom of the post. You can use this comment form to share your questions and I will get back to you. And here, focus on this area, that is tags area, that guides you through some other posts, in which the tags have been used. And also you can use this search box to search any word or phrase in our forums. Challenging question, for example, you want to find some questions about money or about hostility, agreement. You can search those words here. Alright, thank you very much for your attention. I hope you enjoy this. Bye bye.